It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show, Sunday night live edition. We got a pretty good show lined up for you on today. We'll hear from the Rosehill Christian Eagles head football coach, Mr. Dennis Krantz, and their big win over Bay Area Broncos this weekend. We'll also hear from a former PV standout, linebacker number 40, Mr. Jerome Howard. Catch up with him, see how things are going on. We'll also hear from Coach Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats. They had a bye this weekend, but they'll be getting back into the swing of things. We'll give you some local high school score updates. We'll hear from Coach Gene Johnson with his recap for the Waller Bulldogs. We'll hear from Coach Greg Anderson with his recap with the big win from the Royal Falcons. A whole lot to get discussing and going on. So without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. Well, I don't know about you, but I had a challenge of a time today trying to get my football on. Pittsburgh Steelers Tennessee Titans game was postponed because of COVID. And New England Patriots, I believe they were playing Kansas City or someone of that. Yeah, I think that's what it was. They postponed that game. And I'm having somewhat of a challenge. You know, I understand that, we're all for everyone's health and concern. But if people miss out, whether it's the COVID, the flu, or an injury, it's always the next man up. But you postponing games and pushing games back, I don't know. It was a head scratcher for me, and maybe someone can help explain to me why that is what it is. You know, you that's what you have depth charts for, and you make the necessary adjustments and you move on. And I can see the same thing happening. They've done it on the college level. Well, we got a couple of players that couldn't make it, so we want to cancel the games. Well, if you're going to agree to play the games, play the games. By any means necessary, play the games. You went through all that and cried, kicked, and moaned that you want to play. Get out there and play. But I've gotten that off my chest. Rough weekend for the state of Texas. Man, oh man. University of Texas falls. They lost to Iowa State. And Iowa State hadn't had that success or luxury, I want to say, since 1960. I'm sorry, that was Oklahoma who fell to Iowa State. Forgive me. That was the 60-year drought, but it was TCU taking care of Texas, University of Texas, and Texas A&M just got handled by the Roll Tide, just like the Roll Tide handled the Missouri Tigers. And, both Missouri and Texas A&M came in together to the SEC. And I scratched my head from day one about that. And I'm obviously, being that I was born and raised in the state of Missouri, I have an up-close and personal understanding of Missouri athletics, and I know for a fact that Missouri is not an SEC program, period. The SEC should kick them out, and a close second should be kicked out is Texas A&M. That's just from my observation. I'm just calling it like it is. Now, Texas A&M has spent a whole lot of money on Jimbo Fisher. He was supposed to be the Messiah to get them to the promised land. He's still trying to find a 10-game win season. He's in year number 3. I think his overall record is 18-10, something like that overall. He was 5-3 in conference play the first year, 4-4 the next year. And at least right now, he's 0-1 in conference play. $7.5 million a year. Mr. Tom Herman, $5.2 million a year, University of Texas, and they are screaming for his head. Then when you go over to the professional ranks, Texans almost pulled it out, fell short. And the Cowboys tried to make it exciting toward the end. But, man, you're talking about a dysfunctional organization. Now, Cowboy Nation, they were saying it was all Jason Garrett's fault, all Jason Garrett's fault. Well, he's gone. Who do you point the finger at now? Strong performance by the Browns, so you got to give the Browns some credit. Doing what they have to do, taking care of business. But it's really amazing. What we're going to do is we're going to take us a break and get you some high school updates, and we'll have our first guest on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline tonight, Coach Dennis Krantz. But we'll take us a break, hear some high school scores and wrap-ups, and then we'll go ahead and get our first guest on the line. You listen to the Mike Prince Show, live edition, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll be right back.
Hey, dogs. This is Coach Johnson from Waller High School. Wanted to follow up with a little wrap-up this week from the game against Tomball. Hard-fought loss game for us, 37-27. But really proud of some of the efforts our kids put out on the field last night. Defensively, was so pleased with Jamari Thompson and Isaiah Blair. I think they led our play defensively, and Jamari was really, really stellar there on the front, helping with the run game and the run fits, and just really played outstanding. Was really proud of Isaiah and really all of our secondary guys. They posed some athletic kids at wide receiver. Had a big number 7 wide receiver that's supposed to be a highly recruited kiddo that our kids did just a tremendous job standing up to and battling with. So on the offensive side of the ball, boy, just a great night for Davion Crawford. Came out with, I believe, like 8 catches for 163 yards, and just was, they had a hard time finding somebody that could run with him, and he just had a tremendous night, explosive night. What a great night he had. A couple other notables was, of course, Jared Hicks and Marvin Lewis are a great combo in the backfield, and they had solid play, and the numbers probably don't indicate how well they played. They did a tremendous job. We saw a lot of pressure, a lot of line movements and blitzes from their defense, and they picked up the blitz for Caleb Godfrey, who ended up 19-37 with 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they were a big key in his success, being able to handle the blitz when they were getting a lot of pressure up front. And really proud of our offensive line. I think one guy that probably have to mention through that is Jaden Stevens, moved up for his first varsity snaps and played guard and center for us and really played well along with those other guys up front, and again, giving Godfrey time to chunk it around a little bit. So I was also really pleased with our kicking game with both Brandon Lopez-Romero and Sandro Quintanilla on the field goals and kickoffs, respectively. Those kids are growing and becoming more and more comfortable each week and playing really, really well for us in the special team phase. So we'll look to bounce back this week with a big homecoming game against Cleveland High School. The Indians are coming in featuring a very unique spinner-type offense with kind of a wing T, multi-action backfield offense that presents its challenges, and they'll have 4-man front this team this week with some really strong, active guys up front and some athletic kids in the secondary. So we're looking forward to another great matchup here at Bulldog Stadium, and hope that all of the family and community can come out again and support these boys as they put the best effort forward on the field. Thanks so much for supporting the Bulldogs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Mike Prince here with you. That was Gene Johnson giving a recap of the Waller Bulldogs falling a little bit short to the Tomball Cougars by the score 37-27 in Waller, Texas. We're now going to stay in the Tomball zip code and going down the road, 17 miles to be exact, to Rosehill Christian head coach, Mr. Dennis Krantz. Big victory over Bay Area. Coach, how you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well, Michael. How about you?
I'm doing real good. Congratulations on the big win. Man, it was kind of sweating bullets at first, 10-7 at the halftime, but then I said during the halftime show, would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to hear what you said, to get them guys pepped up, man, to get 21 unanswered points in the second half.
Well, I think, and sometimes it happens in football where you start a little bit slow, and I don't know if that was it so much as trying to figure out, like I said, last week's show, Bay Area is a good team, and they run the wing T, and the wing T sometimes you have to be disciplined. You really do. And it's kind of rare these days that you even see it, because a lot of teams are spread now because that's the new thing. So, I mean, you usually only see it once a year, so you only really prepare for it those 3 days. So sometimes it takes a little bit for your kids to adjust, and I'm just glad that ours did.
Yes, sir.
When they did.
Yes, sir. Now, you say, everybody's almost like a copycat, that what's the hot thing. You would think because of choice of personnel and even size that you would see more of this wing T, because when run effectively, it could be a great offense as well as a great defense as when it comes to time consumption. And it takes some time to do it. Are you surprised that more teams are not doing that?
Actually, I am, because it is one of those trends in football to kind of go back, and find the thing that the defenses are least prepared for. And certainly this is a style of offense that is rarely used, and only very few teams do you see during a year that do that. And that really can give you a unique advantage, even if you don't have the athletes quite to pull it off, because the system itself creates its own problems with matchups and stuff like that, especially when you play spread teams pretty much the whole entire year.
Yes, sir.
So it really does takes a lot of brain power on behalf of your coaching staff and your kids to really catch on in a short week to a whole different style of offense.
Absolutely. As we mentioned, it was 10-7 at halftime. You got a couple of huge breaks and rattled off 21 unanswered points for the final of 31-7. You got that one behind you. Now is a huge matchup. Bragging rights in the city of Tomball. You'll be taking on the Tomball Homeschool Warriors for what is now known as the Tomball Cup. So set us up for this week's scenario, sir.
Well, it's always a tough game when you play the team that's from your own backyard, so it's just really exciting. This is our homecoming, and we're excited to play the football season in general, but especially, in the Tomball area, just so that, everybody could come out and enjoy, the Friday Night Lights. And I think it's unique that you can play a team in your own hometown that is made up of the kids in similar size school to yourself when you're a private school, especially. So it makes for a great matchup, and it's always been a great matchup through the years. So I'm glad that we get to do it this year and not have to watch, something else.
I do understand. Was a little bit apprehensive when we first talked about discussing getting the season started, but so far, knocking on wood, I've got 2 weeks under the belt, 1-1, still a strong performance by the Eagles, rebounding from that tough loss against Shiner, and now you'll get a chance to increase that to a 2-1 record overall. And want to remind folks that you can listen live to Rosehill action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Clay Nicholson done a fantastic job with the play-by-play. That phone number is 857-777-0004. And, Coach, I don't know if it's been a tribute to the past two games where great distances from the campus of Tomball down to Galveston and out at Shiner, but in 2 weeks, man, there's been over 1,600 live listeners. And when we shared the numbers with you, you couldn't believe that, huh?
No, absolutely not. I mean, our school doesn't even have, we don't even, if you count up all the students from K through 12, we just hit like a little bit over 400. So that's amazing when you, it's when you're tripling that, total in listeners too. But I'm going to tell you something, Michael. I think it's a good. I think it's a great thing because it just goes to show you that that people appreciate good football, and they may not even know who we are, but if you're able to tune in and listen to a good game, and it's a good competition, and it doesn't matter what level that you play at. I mean, football is football, and it's just fun to be able to listen to it and be able to watch. And that's kudos to Clay too for doing such a good job on his play-by-play, and I think secretly he could have been a sports caster himself. I think it's been a dream of his somewhere hidden inside, and now he's getting to live that out. And I think that's pretty exciting in and of itself.
Oh, so. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all about being inclusive and bringing everybody to the table where we can help celebrate these kids to the best of our ability. Well, Coach, I know that you are, as I say, getting the game plan together for this week, and we always appreciate you making yourself available here on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. And I'm going to bother you till I can't bother you no more and try to have you on next week, same time, same channel. How does that sound, sir?
Sounds great, Michael. Sounds great.
All right. The Rosehill Christian Eagles will be taking on the Tomball Homeschool Warriors for the Battle of the Tomball Cup. Kickoff time will be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to take us another quick break. Get ready for Mr. Jerome Howard, former PV standout, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to give you some more scores and highlight recaps, and we'll be right back with more of tonight's show. You're listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it right where you got it, and we will be right back. Here's some of your high school scores from Week 6 with Waller County, Texas, and the surrounding areas. Royal Falcons victorious over Reagan by the score of 23-6. They'll get prepared for the Sealy Tigers this weekend in district play. Waller Bulldogs fell short to the Tomball Cougars by the score 37-27. Montgomery was victorious over Dayton by the score of 36-14. East Bernard had no problem with Danbury, victorious 56-7. Newton blanked Anderson Shiro 62-0. Magnolia 35. Brenham Cubs 10. And what had to be the shootout of the week, Tomball Memorial outlasts Westbrook by the score of 66-63. Magnolia falls short to Temple by the score of 28-13. Snook was shut out by Burton by the score of 36-0. Stratford falls short to Oak Ridge by the score of 25-22. And our Friday night live coverage featured the Rosehill Christian Eagles victorious over the Bay Area Christian Broncos by the score of 31-7. Those are some of your scores and highlights for our high school football coverage Week 6 from the Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org.
Professions in the fitness lane, it's more of you come in and there's a workout on the board and everybody's doing that workout, and whether you can truly adapt for that workout or whether you're on that level yet, it doesn't matter because you're forced to fit into their system or their philosophy or their beliefs. Well, ours is the complete opposite. I'm creating a customized and tailored approach for you. So I'm creating a system for you as opposed to making you fit into my system. So the intensity and stuff does vary depending on what your goals are, where are you exactly in and on your fitness journey, and then everything goes from there.
Okay, we're speaking right now with Jerome Howard, fitness trainer, former PV standout, Mr. Number 40. And for those who may have just joined in, Jerome, what's the address again for your training facilities, and how can they get in contact with you if they want to become one of your clients?
Yeah, so the best way to do that will be going onto my website, which is www.traindynamicpd.com. So TRAIN, dynamic, DYNAMIC, the letter P as in Paul, D as in Dolphin.com. That'll take you right to the website. You can check out everything, and then there's a button at the top that says schedule a consultation. So getting started is easy. It's 3 simple steps. The first step would be scheduling your consultation. The second step would be actually completing the consultation, where you and I would sit down. I will understand your goals, put you through our comprehensive assessment to truly understand where you are at your journey, and ensure that both parties both parties have to be a good fit for one another. And then from there, if we both agree that we're a good fit, and I tell you the game plan that I think is best moving forward from what I found through the assessment and from their goals, I put together a plan, and if you like the sound of that, then we begin the actual training process. Okay.
And it's just as simple as 1, 2, 3, click, and you can be within the system.
Yep.
Okay.
So 3 simple steps.
Now, how long does it?
Consultation.
Go ahead.
You schedule a consultation, there's the assessment, then there's your initial workout.
Okay, so then how long does it take you to turn a zero into a hero?
Once again, that one is that's a wide question. As with all, the elephant in the room is everything is going to boil down to nutrition. Nutrition is the most important factor when trying to change your body. I'm pretty sure we've all heard that one before. And then besides that, it's just, I'm as invested as you are at this point. It's like, if you give me 100, I'm definitely giving you 100, and then the sky's the limit as to what we can use.
Okay.
But if I'm giving 100 and you're giving me 20%, then we're not going to, that's not going to be a good look for either one of us.
So then do you just terminate client relationships if you see that their effort is not 100% involved into it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. And what I like is, again, my big thing is, although you're a client, it's almost like a business partnership for both of us, because everything I've grown is off of word of mouth and just simply doing the best with client one, and client one does phenomenal, and their coworkers, their friends, their parents, they notice, and then that brings on client 2, 3, 4, and I repeat that process from there. So that's just kind of how I've built everything through word of mouth and just doing great with the people that are in front of me. Now, what I don't want to give a false perception that you have to be perfect, because you don't. No one's perfect. I'm not going to fire you or, terminate our agreement if you went to your child's birthday party and decided you want to have a slice of cake for your 1-year-old's party, or, your friend's hanging out with his other friends and after a sporting event, and, that he had a bag of chips. That's not a reason to. I'm not expecting people to be perfect, but as my coach has always reminded me in athletics, is you can't coach effort. So I just simply want you to do your best, and then we can fix the mistakes from there.
Absolutely. Now, what's the typical age of your client base? What their ages range from? So
they range from 7 to 18.
Okay, from 7 to 18. So somebody my age, I'm just going to say over 50. So would that be someone typically that you would work with? Or I could imagine that the workout schedule would have to be slightly modified, if not totally modified.
Yep, 100%. And that's part of what I mentioned earlier, how for me, my big thing is creating a system, a program, or approach that's based around you and where you are, as opposed to making you fit into what I think you should be. And so there's no unspoken expectation walking in. Once, as you complete the assessment, I understand, hey, what are your imbalances? What are you strong at? What are some opportunities for us to get better? What are some things you do well? How are you sleeping? I look at your nutrition. I'm trying to get a better feel of what's going on hormonally in your body, and then from there, I'm able to create a plan with that and your goals in mind.
Okay, very good. That sounds fair enough. Once again, we're speaking with Jerome Howard, number 40 from Prairie View A&M University. And I got to ask you, man, how did you come up with the number 40?
Well, I was actually number 40 also in high school, and I was one of those people who really, I was good in Pop Warner because I was bigger than everybody. And I got to high school and I kind of stalled out, and everybody else kind of got better. And I walked into a good scenario where our team was light at linebackers. The end of my freshman year, we had a large graduating class on our varsity team. So I moved up to varsity and I was the backup. But in South Florida, in my hometown of Fort Lauderdale, everyone loves the low numbers. So all the older guys were number 1, number 10, number 5, and the coach was kind of like, hey, you got this number or that number. It was like 40 or 51. And I was like, you know what? I'll take number 40. And, a lot of my friends clowned me about it. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make you guys believe. I'm going to make everybody believe in number 40. I'm going to make everybody understand why I'm here. And, I was fortunate to earn 6 scholarships. And I ended up taking my talents to Prairie View. And I was presented with that same opportunity. I had a couple of numbers I can choose from. And I said, no, I'm going to continue to keep number 40 because, when I looked into the number, a friend of mine is big into all the whatever, and he told me that number 40 stands for trials and tribulations, some kind of way if he looks it up. So I was like, you know what, that's in my whole life, just trials and tribulations, so I'm going to keep that number. So I had it in high school, and I kept it in college.
Okay, it sounds good, and a good story to fit that. Now, I'm going to see if you can remember. I can't recall the year, man, but do you remember playing on the yard at old Blackshear Stadium? I missed that old stadium, man. That stadium was something there. Do you remember you had a pick 6 for about 43 yards? Do you recall that?
Yeah, that was my junior year it was homecoming against Mississippi Valley.
Yes, sir, Mississippi Valley. As a matter of fact, I'm going to blow some dust off some archives, and I'm going to send you a clip of that call that we made right here on this network. I figured you would like that. I can remember it just as clear as day. 43-yard pickoff return, pick 6. You were kind of sitting low in the middle, caught it in stride, and never looked back. And I'm going to pull that back for you, man, bring some old memories back for you. Did we lose them? Seemed like we.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You got speechless on me, man. But no, we're always glad to be able, as they say, to as my grandmother would say, reach back and pull out some good old fond memories. And it's good to hear that you're back in town. As you always know, you got a place here with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. But what I want you to do is share with the listeners again for these guys that are going to be getting into some training. I want to call it cross training. Would I be out of pocket to call it cross training?
It's a little different from cross-training. It can be a form of cross-training.
Okay.
I would like to call it more of a customized approach. Whereas, depending on what your goals are, we're revamping everything from strength training from the nutrition, from the recovery, which includes a ton of things to increase and manipulate your range of motion and decrease pain and different things of that sort, especially for a lot of the athletes who are dealing with injuries.
Right.
So it's more of that, just more of what I would like to call a tri-pillar approach of putting all those things together and creating the best version of yourself. Okay. Well, once again, give the address, contact information where people can get in contact with you. Yeah, so my website is www.train, Train, dynamic, Dynamic. That's the letter P as in Paul, the letter D as in Dolphin.com. And then my email address is info, dynamic, Dynamic, the letter P as in Paul, D as in Dolphin, @gmail.com. Okay, my friend, I want to thank you so much. We're going to have to get caught up and talk. I didn't want to bring up nobody else but focus on your mission at hand. But it's always good to hear from you. And I gotta see if you're going to be on cue with me here. Prairie View Producers. Productive people. There you go, my man. He is Mr. J. Howard, number 40. The man that overcome trials and tribulations. I like that, man. Great, great story. I got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be more into tonight's show here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You're listening to the live version of the Mike Prince Show. Keep it exactly where you got it, and we'll be right back.
This is Greg Anderson, head football coach at Royal High School. I was calling to recap our game from last night where the Royal Falcons defeated Austin Northeast 23-6 at Falcon Stadium. Standout players last night for us was Matthew Green, linebacker, running back, Albert Adams, defensive end and running back, and Deshaun Adams, who played an outstanding game defensively for us at corner. Did a much better job being a little more efficient offensively this week, maintaining possession of the ball, gaining first downs. I thought the offensive line did a better job sustaining the blocks. Defensively, we were much more aggressive, did a great job of tackling last night, spent a lot of time in their offensive backfield with our defensive linemen. So overall, it was much improved over the previous week when we went to bowling and lost that game. We open district this coming week with Sealy at Royal Stadium. We're looking forward to it, getting that started, and hopefully we'll get another opportunity to go out and get a win against arch rival Sealy Tigers.
At 17 cents a day, you can make a huge impact on our local and regional high school and college student athletic coverage. We provide local talk shows, live game coverage, and much, much more. But we need your support to continue to move forward. Visit our website today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button, which is safe and secure, and become a listening partner today. Will you become part of the Open Mic Broadcast Network team? Visit that website at obnradio.com and become a listening partner today. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
This broadcast is being made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Night Live edition. Mike Krantz along with our guests. We've been blessed thus far, man. We've had all kind of people. And we're going to come back to Waller County right now and go 5 miles west to Hempstead, Texas. They had a bye this week, but there's never really a bye week in football because you always got your head on the swivel. Introduce to some, present to others, Coach Royce Hill. How you doing this evening, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. Prince, like I said, enjoying this Sunday evening, trying to prepare for the upcoming week.
Man, you can't be enjoying it too much. You're a big old Cowboy fan, ain't you?
Hey, I'm far from it. I'll tell you that. I'm far from a Cowboy fan, but I try to respect those that are around me because it seems like things go a lot better in Texas and the surrounding areas when the Cowboys are winning. So,
man,
I don't think you want to do them.
It was rough on the Cowboys. It was rough on the Texans. It was rough on the Aggies. It was rough on the Longhorns. You know, it was rough all the way around the gamut, man. All the way around the gamut.
It was. I'm telling you, it was a rough weekend for Texas football.
Yes, sir. Hey, well, that means the Bobcats going to have to rescue the Cavalry, man, when you come out the gate next week. You had a chance to recoup. When you have a bye week, and I know you're not playing on Friday nights, pacing up and down on the sideline, do you go to a local game if you can? How do you do your bye weeks when you have that Friday off, Coach?
Really depends. I mean, I've done some of both. You know, a lot of times if upcoming teams or, common opponents are coming up, I'll try to get out to games and try to see them early. It's nothing like getting your eyes on future opponents. So if future opponents are on the schedule and they're playing that night, I try to get into the stadium somewhere and put my eyes on them physically.
Now, do you go incognito, man, and sit way in the back or on the side somewhere with a notepad? And, do they still use notepads and pens, or you are all electronic these days, man?
You don't see too many notepads and pens anymore, but I do try to travel incognito when I go scout. I mean, I don't usually wear any kind of school gear or anything, and just try to kind of go as a fan. But, in the back of my mind, I'm actually, like I said, getting pertinent information that will hopefully help us, in the coming weeks.
Okay, and with that being said, you got a huge district game coming up. These guys are no strangers to you, and you're no strangers to them. It's the same scenario, just a different year, huh?
It is. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Pensick down there. We talk probably once every couple of weeks. He's a really good guy. So we have a lot of history, like you said, going back to 2005. We've had a lot of great battles with those guys, and we kind of had a discussion this past week how cycles go, and there's ups and downs to the programs, but through it all, like I said, we've been able to coach kids up and really have a tremendous amount of respect for each other throughout the entire process.
Yes, sir. And with that respect, there comes a familiarity with what you guys like to do. And we're talking about Hallettsville Brahmas, by the way, for those who are wondering what's going on. And when you look at this, what you want to do versus to what they try to keep you from doing, what are going to be some of the keys for you guys to pull off this win?
Well, I can tell you, I kind of joked about it with the kids last week during the bye week, but there are no secrets between us two. I mean, we know each other very well. We've sat down and talked a lot of football just off the record with each other for years. So there are no secrets about what we do, each other. We've actually helped each other out with some things. So, I mean, for them, it's kind of a mirror image. I tell people, like saying, it's not, bragging or boasting, but one year we beat them a couple of times within a season. I think it's maybe 2012. And he actually, we ran into each other at the game. We sat and talked a whole lot. And the next year they were running our offense, basically. So, it's not something, as coaches, that's what we do. We help each other. There's no such thing as reinventing the wheel, and so we definitely know each other like the back of our hands. I will say that offensively and defensively. I just had a meeting with our coaching staff, and I was showing them some things on film that, things that, insight that I have as far as what guys are reading and what they're doing. So there won't be any secrets Friday night. I'll tell you that. It'll all come down to execution in the Jimmies and Jobs.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, when you look at this thing, and I had Coach Dennis Krantz on from Rosehill in the first segment, and we know this is a copycat world. I just can't say league. It's because it's all over. Why is it that way? And it seems like to me, and I'm not saying this is your case or any other coach's case, you put yourself behind the 8 ball when you're trying to do what everyone else does, when you don't have the necessary, let's say, resources by way of player depth to try to run a spread. Because to run a spread, you have to have some key factors. If you could, you have to have them long, lean linemen that are quick, and don't pace out too bad. You got to have a quarterback who can spin the rock. Some pretty decent receivers and some decent running backs, and everybody is not equipped to go that route.
They aren't. It's funny you would say that because we have this conversation, comes up quite a bit amongst coaches. And the one thing I always tell people is that, whatever you do at the high school level, your system has to be, able to adjust to what you have walking through those double doors at the front. Because, there's no, at the high school level, you can't go out and find, players to fit your system and find players every year, to recruit to fit this certain need. So it's definitely, your system has to be able to adjust to whatever is there and be multiple. I always go back to, when I was in Jasper, I used to talk to Curtis Barbet a lot in Newton, and we'd run into each other, and he was just an old school cat, and one of the things he used to always say that stuck with me, because Newton was going to run that wing tee, they were going to run that 7-diamond defense, and one thing he always said is that, Coach, we do what we do. And that always stuck with me. I thought, you see a lot of people, like I said, a copycat, and they change offenses or defenses from week to week or year to year. And, with your kids, you have to get good at something. The kids have to be able to hang their hat on something and believe in something. So that's something that I've always kind of stuck with me. That old Curtis Barbet saying, hey, do what you do and get good, make sure you get good at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a little simple philosophy in life. Love what you do, simplify what you do, and then master what you do. And if you are going to do this, and I'm just thinking from a high school level, you already made mention, not many people are able to run the spread at 100% optimum. So why not go back to the wing tee where it didn't require as much detailed personnel and you're able to keep things? Now, if I were to go into coaching, and I'm not bidding to do that at all, especially at this age and stage in my life, but I would kind of stick to that wing tee, and they call the 4-2-5. We used to call it the nickel when I was around, but that's all it is a nickel defense. And make sure you have some type of strong kicking game. Do you see coaches possibly going back to this as scheme B when they realize that scheme A, which is the preferred choice of the run and shoot or the spread, if you want to call it, is ineffective?
Well, I can tell you what happens in this day and age. And, like I said, this is a conversation that, it comes up often. And you have a lot of programs that if the community doesn't buy into, such as the wing tee, slot tee, that's an easy way to get run out of town. I mean, because, it's the way of the world right now with, that spreading the ball around, throwing it around, and it kind of keeps kids interested. To be honest with you, there's some communities, some programs that if you were to bring a slot tee in or a wing tee in, the gym would be full. Because, you have kids that are receiver-type kids, they're just not going to buy into, I'm blocking 85, 90% of the time, or there's not a possibility I'm going to get the ball. So some of it is a catch-22 of kind of keeping your kids interested and making sure that, they're having fun and believing in what you're doing scheme-wise.
Okay. I can recall a junior college out of Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma. Now, they were one of the only teams that I'd seen, and I, hadn't seen as many games and tried to, scout as many games as you have, but they were in a spread, but they ran a misdirection spread that was totally effective. And I was wondering, is that even something that could be logically looked into?
It is. You have, there's, a team up north, Gunter. Gunter a couple of years ago kind of made that popular. Basically, they took the slot tee and just put it into a spread. And out of the pistol. And a lot of teams have started trying to go to that. I mean, they did a lot of clinics across the state, about that the past couple of years, because once again, it was the hot thing to do, And I can tell you myself, I played in the wing tee, of course, being, age-wise, that's what everybody was doing. And I'm a huge believer in the wing tee. The wing tee principles. And I can tell you, people that watch us, and offensively, they will tell you they're like, a lot of the things that we do out of the spread are wing tee. It's wing tee principles, out of the spread. So there's ways to marry the concepts while still kind of, bouncing it back and forth. But, yeah, I can definitely see, I can say how looking from the outside in, it makes it tough on people to say, why won't people do this? Why won't they try that? Especially, when you see your Armies and your Navies, that it's tough to prepare for those teams. And the triple option and those double slots. When you don't play that often and then all of a sudden you have to prepare for a team in 4 days, that's not something that you can duplicate in practice and get reps, effective reps. So it can definitely work to your advantage.
Right. I was thinking probably the best team to prepare for you would be whoever you had opening season play, because they have all the preseason to get ready for it. But when you look at it, it's just something, and maybe I'm just stuck in my old ways, man. My wife said I can be stubborn sometime, but it is what it is. We're talking right now with Coach Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats. They'll be you'll be on the road this week, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be heading down to Hallettsville Friday night.
Yeah, Hallettsville on Friday night. Now, Coach, it's been a unique year all across the gamut with COVID and everything like that. And what I've always admired about the Hempstead group, it was a small group, but it's a scrappy group. Guys playing both ways and special teams in some cases. The music has not changed because you still got to deal with some of the same pieces. But of all that you have to deal with, how much have you learned about yourself as a coach dealing with COVID? And if you could share with us, what have you learned about yourself?
I think the main thing that I've learned this season is patience. I feel like I'm a pretty patient person anyway, but dealing through this pandemic with the extremely young group of kids. I mean, there are times, we sit back and laugh about it sometimes watching film, but I mean, we have 2 seniors on our roster, on our entire roster. And we're playing a lot of 15, 16, even a couple of 14-year-old kids out there on the field. And with them having to not only deal with playing on Friday nights with their first experience, but for their first experience to be during the pandemic, with, with all the COVID-related guidelines that we have to deal with now, it's definitely different for those kids. But one thing I will say, like I said, and I commend those kids often because the effort has been there. And this group, that's one thing I won't be able to say about them is that they don't give effort. I mean, they give effort. They're just, like I said, they're young, and it's just dealing with, like I said, the guidelines and everything that comes along with being, like I said, the pandemic and being your first experience on Friday night. Yeah, it can all be earth moving and deer headlight syndrome when you're dealing with some young minds. They're ready until them lights go click. Game time, So we do tip our hats to all of you guys for what you're doing. You didn't normally get a chance to play what we call the Battle of Waller County Royal Falcons due to the pandemic. We are assuming that you guys will pick that back up, and will the home field flip-flop, or will it pick up where it left off? We actually haven't even discussed how we will move forward with that. Like I said, we didn't miss playing those guys this year. That's always a good battle, like I say, in the Waller County. And, like I say, they do a great job down there. And it's just, kids love that battle. And so it was hard, I'll tell you, having to break it to them that we weren't going to play. And I waited as long as I could before I broke the news. Yes, sir. It's definitely a downer for our kids not being able to play that game against Brookshire. Well, I'm going to go on record live right now that we here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, we're going to do whatever we can on the backside of this thing to have that game played on the campus of Prairie View. I think it's something that the community would love to see, something that needs to happen, and I think it's something that can bring the unity from all spectrums of Waller County to see the battle of Royal and Hempstead on the campus of Prairie View. How does that sound, man? Well, I tell you, I would never turn that opportunity for our kids down. Like the beautiful campus out there, beautiful facilities. And I would love for our kids to have an opportunity to play under those circumstances for sure. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna try. I can't promise anything, but all I can do is give it that PV try. And as long as I do that, I think something good could come out of it, Coach. Yes, well, I tell you, I definitely appreciate any push that you can give from your end. Is definitely appreciated from our end for sure. Okay, well, as they say, I'll have my people get in contact with your people, and then we'll try to make something happen on this end. Coach Royce Hill, he's denying that he's a Cowboys fan tonight, but that's okay. But he is a Hempstead Bobcat fan. And once again, Coach, we want to give you some closing thoughts and comments that you can share, and the floor is now yours. Guys, always thank you for the opportunity to come on and share a little bit that's going on about our program and our kids. You do a great job in the community. Like I said, don't ever forget that. Like I said, how much we appreciate it from the Bobcat. Well, I appreciate the fact that I am being appreciated, and I can't do it without you guys. It's a team effort. For as long as we've been doing it, I hate to even say how long I've been doing it because that means I haven't got that much older. But it's a labor of love for us, man. And we truly, truly appreciate you. And thank you so much for joining us on our Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline. And we will be getting a recap from you on Friday night. Hopefully we got a win coming out of Hallettsville. How does that sound? Well, I tell you, that would be tremendous to be able to go down there. Those guys, like I say, ranked in the top 5, be a great knockoff for us this week for sure. Get that done. Well, go out there and get her done, my friend. I appreciate it. All right. Coach Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats getting ready for Hallettsville Friday night. I forgot to ask him if it's going to be 7:30 kickoff, and usually it is about a 7:30 kickoff. Remember, stay tuned right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network on our Twitter feed at The Mike Prince Show. Give you all the updates and highlights as things develop and unfold from Hempstead High School coverage. We're going to take us a break, and we'll be right back with more of tonight's show right here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You listen to the Mike Prince Show live. Keep it right where you got it, and we will be right back. I promise you, don't you touch that dial.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
Drivers and bicyclists both have the right to be on the road and travel safely. And when we're on the road together, safety is a shared responsibility. State law requires drivers to maintain at least 3 feet of clearance when passing bicyclists. And bicyclists should always ride with the direction of traffic and follow all traffic signals. It's safer. It's courteous. It's the law. A message from the Regional Planning Commission Pedestrian and Bicycle Program.
We'd like to recognize sponsors. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you. Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll-free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824.
Your education, your health care, your community, your future. Your vote counts for many things. Take control. Get registered. Get educated. Get out and vote. Learn more at www.vote411.org. This is a public service announcement from Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Attention all coaches. Whatever your sport is, we want to tell your story. Dial our 24 hours, 7 days a week message line at 713-570-6736. Leave your game results, team results, and player results on our 24-hour message line, 713-570-6736. Have sports, we'll travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics.
It's the Open Mic with Dr. Mike. The Open Radio and the Mike Prince Show. The Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final segment of tonight's show. I always love to hear that rendition. That came by way of Miss Peoples out of Mississippi. Truly appreciate that. Wonderful show on tonight. We've had on Mr. Dennis Krantz of Rosehill Christian Eagles, Mr. Jerome Howard, number 40 himself, former PV standout, now training back in the Houston area, and just got off the line with Coach Royce Hill as they get prepared for Hallisville this coming weekend down in Hallisville. We also heard reports from Greg Anderson of the Royal Falcons and Gene Johnson right out of Waller High. So we're always gathering around, keeping people informed and enlightened on what's going on throughout the world of athletics and the surrounding areas, and want to let you know that you guys can listen to Rosehill Christian football live on Friday nights right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. That line to listen in on, 777-0004. Mr. Clay Nicholson comes on 7 p.m. and does a great job with doing the play-by-play coverage, and we give you scores, updates, and highlights of Waller County, Texas, and the surrounding area, and all to come. Rough weekend, as we mentioned, for the state of Texas, from Power 5 all the way down, and hopefully they'll regroup and recover on the next battle. And we're going to try to make sure that we recover on the next battle. Had a glitch or two later on, but as they say, the show must go on, and we're making sure that everything was taken care of on that. So what we're going to do right now is, as I say, exit stage left, get ready to head out. Want to thank everyone for joining in with us on tonight. Can't do it without you. Don't try to do it without you. Don't forget our 24-hour message line, 713-570-6736. You can call in, leave your questions, comments, or concerns about what's going on throughout the world of athletics. Share your team's reports. Share your team's highlights. That number again, 713-570-6736. The time has come where I must exit stage left. Remember to follow us on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. And you can always visit the website at obnradio.com. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.